Rahubat Usra, YouTube. Let's get back to work. Alright, so this video I'm gonna make quick, and I'm gonna sum things up using a little bit of right reason, because it's a hypocrisy. Now, when you read into Nuwaubian, you obviously see we talk a lot about extraterrestrials and different beings from other galaxies, etc. And there are also many cultures, if not all the cultures though, in the world that got written documents and also oral traditions that's been passed down for thousands of years. And they speak about great reptilians, reptiles, spiders, dolphins, beings that come from Pleiades, different star constellations, same things that we be saying. So the thing with me is, the real pseudoscientists are the ones who think some Egyptian or Sumerian king list is going to validate all historical events from these indigenous tribes. Most scholars agree that there's more unexplained than there is explained. But in the day and time that we living in right now, that we have direct access to all these videos, some of the oldest footage of indigenous peoples telling their stories out of their mouths, to be stuck in university facts to the point where you only accept that type of knowledge as truth, then you just lack a cultural perspective and you've been subjected to being indoctrinated, right? You pretty much lost your soul, pretty much lost your spirit, because culture is the essence and the foundation of all the knowledge that we have today, and the myth that you understand it the way you understand it today, right? So here's what I want people to do. All you got to do is more cultural research to see what these people are saying, and you'll clearly come across many extraterrestrial stories, many abductions, many visitations. And I want you to realize the one from the outside looking in is you. When native and indigenous peoples come across Dr. Malachi York or the scrolls and what he was teaching, like the holy tablets, they know exactly what he was talking about. They know exactly what we teach in Nuwaubian. Even when they get the Bible or Quran, they know that they're talking about tribes in certain geographical areas. They know these things. And they, trust me, the only ones that sound foolish, 1 minute talking about they indigenous, next minute extraterrestrials don't exist. These people have become completely physical. You're not a part of the spiritual plane. We vibrate on the spiritual plane when we know that the invisible world exists. It's a living thing. You understand? But it baffles me that we got access to journals, you know, scribes of what people were saying out of their mouths, and we can run this information parallel with what is being taught, and people are not doing it. They only speaking out of analytical, mathematical terms, no cultural. All right, so listening to some people like Chuck Morgan and Tarnoon who are playing this semantic game because they, you know, so attached to Dr. York's semantics and linguistics and that methodology, you can literally scientifically shrink your brain, as those fellows are doing. You know, so I want all y'all to think about this. How many tribes have similar stories of existence in the stars long before existence on Earth? And then ask yourself, what real knowledge do these people out here propagating truth have outside of these university facts? Do they have any culture, any tradition? What is their perception and their beliefs geared towards? You see, because they've lost their spirit, and their foundation is he said, she said. They cannot intellectually put this in proper perspective, right? The stories that's been told for thousands of years, like, that's insanity to me. And y'all have to realize you're making yourselves go insane by listening to these clowns, thinking you're entertaining yourself, but even when you entertain yourself, you do damage to your brain. So, you know, be cautious. Be cautious. These guys only want to accept some type of proof, not understanding that the methodology Nuwaubian used to prove what you say is because we, the rest of the world, perceive the world like the holy tablets. You have to prove what you say, because I can run my story parallel with what most of the Native Americans and, you know, indigenes are saying all across the world. So back to the point, I don't want y'all to get me wrong, because university facts was useful and still are useful because of the mental condition that we're still in, obviously. But to get involved too much in he say, she say, who said this, who said that, that's Halau's workings. You understand? That's Halau's workings in you. Ain't no devil come to you, ain't no devil confuse you, you're confusing yourself. So I don't get too much involved in dogmatic drama, you know, because it's too easy with right reason. Now obviously, these dudes missed the point. The point of Nuwaubian was to use necessary facts to prove, certain things that we were saying. Never to get stuck in university knowledge or assume anything and everything that they were saying was true, when we know that they were going to send students to sit at the feet of these masters, right? And then bring that data back to the university to try to decipher what and how these tribes were communicating. Now, obviously, whatever could not be concluded or useful to the university was either thrown away or hidden until intellectually we get raised to understand more, if you understand what I'm saying, right? Or they was just simply destroyed. So this fake news website that Chuck Morgan runs, he got questions like, is David Icke one of the masters who guide Dr. York's pen? And clearly we can go find video of David Icke sitting with Credo Mutwa taking words right from the man's mouth, putting it in his own publications for his own books. So for a person to even go to his website and formulate a question this way, in such a way to make it seem like David Icke or Zachariah Stitchin Dr. York was plagiarizing from or got this information from, that's erroneous. And that's devious. That's diabolical. Because why would you do that? Now, is it not clear that these dudes got the information from individuals prior to them? Is that not like the clear obvious in how history works? The fuck? Yo, you dudes bugging. Yo, so this is the last thing. You can always tell the level of a person's intelligence by the questions they ask. And you can even use this strategy on yourself. If you're sitting back and silly questions come to mind that you're asking yourself, then you should try to use a different part of your brain to think about that. And be like, damn, I'm asking myself some silly questions. Maybe it's because I've been reading Nuwaubianism.com. So people, if you see, individuals talking about extraterrestrials are a fallacy, but yet they're indigenous and they have culture, man, they bogus. All right, stay away from them. Peace, YouTube. Wadu.